Welcome to the Holts Sealed Bid Sale July 2022. Today we're going to look through about a dozen of my favourite guns, and if you know me and you've watched one of these before, a dozen means about 30. Let's kick off with something beautiful. This is 5742, a W&C Scott box lock ejector. So you've got a large heavy duty treble grip action, 2 3/4 inch chambered gun from 1895. Lovely scroll engraving, W&C Scott & Sons with a little piece of original colour. Scroll back action, double triggers. Fore-end wood is short and bolstered, and look at this, released by a little pop lever there. I think that's actually really very nice. Given that splinter foreends aren't designed to be held in any particular way, if you're wearing a glove, you've got quite a lot of use there. You might be gathering by this point that this is a pigeon gun, especially when we look at the wave cut flat top rib. Lovely sighting plane, and again, adds a bit of weight to these barrels. 30-inch barrels too. This is a good, usable gun in the modern era. The sale is in fact filled with quality box locks. Box locks, as I've said multiple times, are so undervalued and underappreciated, but the strength and beauty can be there. £400 to £600. Really not bad for a beautiful Damascus box lock ejector. There is an issue, the stock is a replacement stock, and very likely when this gun was made it had a semi-pistol grip or something along those lines. The shape of the tang denotes this, the depth of the action denotes this, that this natural line should curve out here and probably join back in. However, it has been converted to straight hand. Whether that was done on the new stock or whether that was done on the old stock and changed and it was pattern copied, I don't know. Nobody does. But what it is isn't unpleasant. It's just large through the hand. And that in itself kind of makes it feel a little bit modern. In the olden days, you had a very skinny thing, but now if you look at a lot of the Continental guns, they've got a bit of girth. But to be honest, at £400 to £600, you're probably buying this gun as a user. And from a purely practical perspective, it feels familiar. Back to the room of fun. So this is the shotgun room, that is the rifle room, and a few more shotgun room, and then you have accessories and a few antiques. It is a wonderful place with nearly 5,000 lots in this sale. Let's look at a gun. You have seen this before. This is lot 5106. This featured in our German Guns film. And to be honest, I'd kind of forgotten how much I loved this gun. It comes with a spare set of barrels, and the bottom barrel has been bored out from, I believe, 8 by something or other to a 410. This needs reproving, so I believe it'll have to be cut on sale unless it goes to the person who can actually do that. I love these large flat side bolsters. There's something about the shapes of this gun that make me happy, let alone the quality of engraving. For I think $250 was the estimate on this. It was very, very minimal. And next is another gun that perhaps shouldn't be in this sale, or maybe it should. It's a toughie. This is lot 5732A. It's a Holland & Holland Climax Safety Hammerless. It is not a particularly common Holland patent or design, but what it is definitely a Holland & Holland. It has been sleeved, and other than that, it's in fairly good order. How beautiful are the lines on this gun, that rounded bar. I even love those sort of back action locks, they're so nice. This gun, I believe, is like £400 to £600. Look at the engraving on it. Like, you take the Holland & Holland name off it and it's still beautiful. I get that it's sleeved, but you know, for those of us who are of a more pesentious peerage, a sleeved Holland & Holland is as good as it's gonna get. Lot 5187 is a R-Crom AK. Interestingly, there's something very similar over there with some Olympic rings on it. Let's take a look. I really don't know why I'm showing this to you, because actually I'm feeling that I should be buying this as a piece of history for my increasingly large collection of junk. This is a Cromson FO32 Black. Cromson bird logo on the top, and it says Crom on the bottom in gold inlaid lines. This is a Spanish gun from 1976, and it's not in great condition. Let's be honest, the lacquered stock has taken a proper beating. There's no cracks or anything, but it is in poor condition between the bluing and everything. There's some of the gold missing from the inlaid line. Those of you who have watched our channel for a while will appreciate the lines and style. This is an Aranberry Isia underneath. They made the Aranberry Mac a bit later on, which is based off an early Perazzi design. You've got the similar lockup, completely different internals, completely different standard of engineering back then, but you know, there are similarities. The thing about this gun, well, there's a few things about this gun. The first, you have nylon shims for adjusting cast. It's basically an 828U. You have a Monte Carlo stock with that sort of classic pistol grip of the era. The pad is old and round, it's never been changed. This is basically like finding a 1950s F1 car, because it's an Olympic gun. You don't put rings on a gun unless it's been to the Olympics, generally speaking. To do otherwise is basically, you know, a Walter Mitty-ism. All right, deep dive through the internet and lots of translation of Spanish pages. Nothing to do with being used in the Olympics. They just put rings on their guns. All of the black guns to commemorate that this was used by the Olympic team. Because the Olympic team used them, they obviously felt that they could put Olympic rings on all the models, which is cool. This gun, I reckon, was probably there. I've got no evidence of that whatsoever. There were two trap shooters from Spain in the 1976 Olympics. Esteban Azcu, who shot 181, came 11th. The other was Eladio Valduvi, who shot 175 and came 21st. Shims for adjusting cast. It's just sat here in Holts for 150 quid. You ain't gonna go too far wrong. It's an interesting piece of history. And you can tell all your mates that it was actually Eladio's. They'll believe you. And I try desperately not to show you the same stuff every time, but how often do you find a tidy GTI? The Ultra with the gold lines, a little more common to find a tidy one, but this is doing pretty well for a PP 1988 gun. If this was a few years younger, I would be desperate to have it and trade my GTI in against it. And I say trade in, that's not how auctions work. Buy this, consider selling the other. This is a GTI Skeet. One presumes it's got 28-inch barrels with relatively open chokes and a big chunky stock. It is a lovely gun, but not half as lovely as this little Browning next. Lot 5291 is one for my American friends. This is a 1968 Browning B25 Lightning. 20 bore, 28-inch with a round knob stock. This is a genuinely beautiful gun. There's something about the profile of one of these that on any other gun I think looks horrific, but because of the depth of the Browning action, the slight step up to the rib, the fact that it lends itself to its tiny skinny neck before sort of kicking out into that bulbous knob, it's good. Practicality wise, there's nothing that feels quite so good as that and that rounded fore end. I really dislike the 20 bore skinny fore ends they put on, but that rounded fore end, it's a very usable gun, especially in a 3-inch 20 bore with 28-inch barrels. Being 1968, and serial number is 52541 V8, denoting 68. You have the rounded style front. This is a brilliant and practical gun. There's a few cosmetic scratches, but I popped it open before filming to have a look. To be honest, mechanically speaking, the ejectors are sound modern style, the finish is unmolested, the joint is unmolested, and it is very tight on the face. This is a lovely gun, and I love the simplicity of the scroll on the 20 bores. When they put this Similar design on a 12, I always think it looks a bit sparse, but this is an iconic, iconic gun and would make a great upland hunting or walked up shooting gun. Estimate on value, $1,250 to $1,500. I think that's quite realistic, let's be honest. Some of the estimates in that room, they're cheap. People are looking to draw attention clearly, but it's an unrealistically cheap price. That value is bang on the money. That's a gun that would last you the rest of your days and you would always fall in love with. Belgium Brownings are undervalued currently. Just not fashionable, which is strange because 30 years ago, these were the gun of choice for everybody. And still are, for the discerning few. All right, let's move on. Simon.
Yes.
5,000 lots, quite a few thousand guns.
Yeah, just under 4,000 guns, I think, in here.
That's a few.
Yeah.
What would you pick for yourself?
For myself, well, I have pretty well-known tastes. There aren't any Scottish guns in here, you'll be relieved to hear.
Well, you wouldn't let them in here.
No, we probably wouldn't. I like a particular type of side-by-side. I like 30-inch barrels, I like pistol grips, I like raised file-cut ribs.
Sounds like you like over and under secretly, Simon.
Secretly, over and unders built like, yeah, but in side-by-side format, yeah. So there's a couple in here that caught my eye. The first one made me smile when I picked it up because the engraving is cartoonesque, naive. It kind of looks like a talented child would draw a dog. Really, it's a Thomas Wilder Birmingham. I have a Thomas Wilder gun. In fact, I had two. I've still got the 16 bore. I'm partial to wild guns, Whittle Street in Birmingham. This is a Greener type crossbolt, treble grip action, big, strong side-by-side, raised file cut rib. So it is a fowling type, live pigeon type, and it's got a pistol grip, and it's just a nice thing all round. It's not too dented or marked or bashed about, and the engraving made me smile.
I mean, the dog is the best part.
The dog is the best part. A dog looks like, you know, Scooby-Doo, surprised to find his snacks in the grass. So this is a Webley 700, Webley and Scott Limited, Birmingham. These were hugely popular in their day. Hand-built, box locks, solid, strong, goes bang, chucks them out. This is a 30-inch version, which you don't often see, with a pistol grip.
You know, they're not exciting.
No, they're not.
They are the silver pigeon of the 60s.
They are exactly that. They're utilitarian guns from the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Brilliant.
This is probably middle of that era. And in modern spec for tall people like you and I, who like long barrels, to smooth out our swing. So this is a Beretta A303 in really nice order. The stock's lost a bit of finish, and the varnish has worn slightly just to reveal the texture of the woodwork on the stock, but the forend still retains the finish that it needed. A hugely popular semi-auto from Beretta from the late 80s. Ported barrels as standard. These were factory issued like that. What I liked about it is the handling of these early Sporter 303s is cracking. It's fantastic. It is a tool for breaking clays. It does it extremely well as long as the operator knows what they're doing.
They work.
And they work,
They
yes.
work.
And it's in good order. Good gun. 5431.
Better than a hat.
Aim off that. It's an Italian-made clay buster. Good gun.
Good gun. Speaking of hat sands, have a look at this. I mean, I might be hallucinating, but if you're not really here, then the stars don't even matter. I mean, these references are pretty specific to people between about 25 and 40 who liked semi-popular music for a couple of years. It's referencing a song by Sam Sparrow, just so you don't think I'm going mad and I've lost the plot. I suppose because this is a gun channel and not a karaoke one, we should talk about the gun. It's a 2012 Escort Magnum. The stock is painted in a beautiful gloss black and the action in a metallic gold hammerite. It's pretty cool. Its value is 80 to 120. It's one of those guns that I know that all of you will go, why are you showing us gold guns? We've had our fill of gold guns. But I don't care. This one is awesome. If you secretly like this gun, comment. This gun is ugly. Cool video though. pretty much the response we get every time we show a gold thing.
This caught my eye because this is of sentimental interest to me. I cut my teeth, grew up in and around Norfolk hedgerows with my best mate Ollie, shooting a Parker Hale over and under. It was his gun, we shared it, we shot an awful lot of stuff. We had a great time. We cooked an awful lot of it for lunch every day. It was brilliant and really fond memories. This is the higher spec version of a Parker Hale over and under than we had. His was very basic. This is the Sporter model. We had the field grade model. It's Japanese made in the Browning style. It's in good, tidy order, but it's a sentimental one for me. It's kind of like the Winchester braid of, it's got that thoroughbred, it's got that shape of action, it's got that really good metal to metal fit. You know, that fineness of that trigger guard there is really nice. It's a couple of £100, isn't it?
Does baffle me that that's worth that.
So you've got to factor in our commission, as we always say, don't forget that. But still, look, for me, this is sentimental value, but it's actually a really good, nicely made, good quality gun. Nice engraving too.
Every gun in this room of shotguns will have the bore tested, the wall thickness is tested again for safety and to ensure it is not out of proof. This little puppy has extremely thin walls. This is 5855C. It is a 2-inch chambered gun. 2-inch chambered guns were designed to make the guns a lot lighter, take lighter loads, and essentially do a very similar job to a 20 bore. Inherently, the barrels would always be thinner because in a 2-inch shell, the test pressures and the cartridge pressures would be lesser. Makes sense? Given that you've got less capacity to wedge powder and shot and wads in that cartridge. This hopefully is making some sense. It's been a long day. These barrels, let's get to the point, are 6 thou thick. 6 thou. Put that into perspective, a Coke can is, I think, about 4.5. That is mental, but it is in proof. Recommended wall thickness is obviously more than 6 thou. In fact, preferably 20 plus, if not 25 plus thou is preferable. Somewhere between 25 and 35, totally in the realms of normality. Less is fine, obviously, but 6 is pretty wild. Most of you will be thinking Holts sealed beard. It's mostly going to be Bakels and a load of side-by-sides. That is not true. The sealed beard has really developed, certainly since we started coming here, and now the line between sealed beard and mainsail is blurred. There is no hired iron curtain between them. This is a Renato Gamba Daytona. It's a 1996 gun, and it's quite pleasant. It's estimate 1800 to 2200, which, to be honest, feels like a little bit much for the traditional sealed bid, but that is where it is, which just goes to show, I mean, there's a lot of nice stuff over there. Simon was saying it's just a different way of bidding. Like, it's a different market, it's a different way of bidding. Some guns like this would perhaps sell better under those scenarios than under a hot hammer environment. Gamba as a gun making company has been around, or traced its roots back at least as a family till the 1700s. And there's been many iterations of them. They've made guns for other people, and to be honest, I own a couple, and I think they're fantastic. I don't own one of these. Most of mine are a few years older. This is a Daytona, which is a detachable trigger gun. Oh, look how easy it is. I love the detachable trigger system on these. Again, they've updated it in later guns, not that it really matters, but that system inherently isn't the most solid feeling. Not that it will actually make a damn difference, but you know. The Daytona came in a variety of actions and a variety of prices back then. This is the unengraved action. You have just one tiny little scrollwork on the side with a clamshell on the side there. Let's call it a clamshell, scallop shell. The forend is probably the most vanilla schnabel in the world. Just pop that off so you can see there's not a lot of commitment to a huge flute, but actually quite like that. That's not very unoffensive. Vented mid and top ribs, and it's going to be a 10mm parallel hand file cut. I love a hand file cut rib, as you know. Well, it's machined, then hand file cut. Actually, looking, you've got the machining, and then they've got a hand file being pushed across, and then they've taken a bit off the top. Double bead sight, right in the middle. And I believe in the year 2000, it was reproofed for Teague multi-chokes. Comes with no spares, but being Teague, the best choke company in the biz, you can give them a call, give them the serial number, and they should be able to make you some to match. I love the ejection system and how it's done on these two little push rods up through here. It's a simple system, perhaps overcomplicated, but it's clean. It's nicely engineered. It leaves your monoblock looking blocky and not too full of stuff. Renato Gamba still exists. They don't make half as many guns as they did 30 years ago or 25 years ago, but they still make guns. Does the current existence of a gun maker make you more eager to buy a gun under their name? I mean, clearly yes, because of the marketing they do drives you to want to own that brand, but, you know, what if they don't make spares for that old gun anymore? It's no different whether they exist or don't. I'd love to know your thoughts as buyers of these things, because to me, it doesn't matter at all. I buy on the gun and the coolness of it, and perhaps generally the rareness, uniqueness, and the complete lack of desirability.
We've just had our main sale. What we do is we have the auction, of course, and then the clients come to the auction and take part in the day. After that, anything which is unsold, we also put on to another online auction. Because there are, I found, a few people who don't really like to come to the auction. So it goes back, but just online, and you bid away online for a week. Then it goes on to a buy now system for another week, which tells you what the minimum reserves are. Bid away and good luck, have some fun.
In this sale, there is a heap of deactivated guns, more than usual, and this one obviously caught my eye, L1A1, because they're cool. I do wish we could own them, that's all really, but unfortunately it's deactivated. Deactivated for our American friends means they weld it in such a way that nothing can ever work again. Deactivated guns are kind of sad, but at the same time, it's as close as you can get. So, there you go. I don't begrudge anyone for owning one of them. It's a cool piece of history. I apologise for not showing more rifles. I think by now you probably realise they're just not my thing for the most part. I love shotguns, I love rifles. But rifles to me are perhaps more practical and less emotional, unless it's something like this. This is lot 4301A. So this is a 300 Holland & Holland Magnum, 300 H&H. That is the little brother caliber to the 375 H&H, which has remained way more popular to this day. The interesting thing about 4301A is it is a nameless gun. But if we look at it from the silvers on the back, the shape and profile of the stock, the checkering, the oval, the sling swivels, the grip shape, all of the stylings, it could well be a Holland & Holland. That when somebody who is not the original maker rebarrels a gun, it is bad form / illegal and dodgy to put the original maker's name into it. So perhaps at some point during this gun's life, it was rebarreled by Joe Smith. Joe Smith didn't want to sign the gun because Joe Smith's just a dude. And the Holland & Holland writing, which would be branded on the barrel, given that it is just a Mauser action, is gone. You have the period scope that is branded Holland & Holland 41419. The serial number on the bolt is also 1419. You're seeing where I'm going here. But this cannot be definitively said as a Holland & Holland rifle, but it basically is. It is estimated 700 to 900, which is a bargain if we put it into the realms of being a real Holland. Yeah, that ball is absolutely mint. Absolutely mint. This gun is a shooter. I think Kynox load up 300 H&H, so it's not even a hard round to get. Totally reasonable for all UK game. The scope is clear. It's hard to say whether that would be perfect or not, but generally speaking, I love this gun. I think this is just a lovely, lovely thing. Look at that. How nice is that? It's hard to be inspired by a standard bolt action rifle, but something with a little bit of mystery that's built to that beautiful quality, that does turn me on. It's impossible, as always, to give you a full flavour of what is on show here at Holts. There are guns here that you have never seen before. Look how that is beautiful, isn't it? 303 Lee speed. I've already got one, but what a beautiful thing that is. Everywhere you look, you see something new, something you've never seen before. It is a wonderful, wonderful place, and you get a good flavour of that on their website. The sealed bid auction is a very simple process. You log in, you create an account, and you tell them what you're willing to pay for a gun. If someone else is willing to pay higher, they win. It's not a progressive auction, there's no bidding. It's just, this is what I am willing to pay, and you hope that you are the strongest bid, or that no one else is interested. I say this every time because I am equally as bad as everyone else. Strong bids win. Weak bids do not win. So if you're interested in something, get a bid in early, make it realistic. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to continue looking around here for a bit, maybe make another separate video, but to be honest, I might just spend a bit of personal time. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Good luck, good bidding, happy bidding, or good browsing. We'll see you soon. Before we go back to the studio, I have a question for you. Because in all of my looking, I could not find a correct answer, although I've only looked for 5 minutes, so do forgive me. The 3800 BB1. What is a BB1? An X90, 96, 97 gun? I don't know. To be honest, I do not know the answer to what a BB1 is. BB. Broad beaver tail. I haven't seen one before, and I, as you know, have a fair Maruka obsession, or have done in the past. BB1. Beaver tail, broad red beaver tail, who knows?